cut super short. Had a little bit of an error when I tried to click on something, but here I am. Anywho, like I was saying, I was trying to figure out what I could possibly do for this returning episode of my spooky studio, because I think it's been like a couple months, you know. And I thought what would be cool is if I discussed a couple of things that maybe people don't know about, and one that I know is a super rare item, and it happens to be one of my favorites. So if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, or rather the description, I am going to be talking about both of these Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy books today. So if you guys are familiar, maybe you do or you don't know, I don't know, with Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy, it came out in 2010. It is like a 4-hour documentary on A Nightmare on Elm Street, basically everything you want to know. Well, a couple years after that, Tommy Hudson, who worked on Never Sleep Again, decided to come out with a book. He wanted to give something to the Elm Street fans that they could basically have available on their coffee table, which I don't, because I would be too afraid that somebody would spill coffee on it. So I have put it in a safe place. But here are the books. This one came out about, I think he was talking about in like 2013. It was a crowdfunding, and it was only exclusively available to the people who backed this project through crowdfunding. I remember that Tommy was coming to me and they only had a couple days left, and he was like, what can we do? We're a little short on the money. And I said, here's a couple things, make sure you get Robert involved, make sure you get Wes involved. And he did, and they ended up exceeding their goal. And of course we got the Elm Street book. And inside of this is this is premiere release. Holy moly Jesus. You could see that this is 696 out of 750. So there are 750 of these in the wild, and they are not available for resale. They were only available to backers. I do not see any of these available for sale online, but the last time I checked, I think they were going for like $700, which is insane. But I'm gonna go into this one, and then there's this one, which is the smaller version that is paperback, that came out probably, I think it was like a couple years later. I remember Tommy saying that he wanted to update it a little bit and just make it more available for everybody to read. So of course we got the paperback version, which has pretty much the same art in the intro. Again, it's forwarded by Wes Craven, who, this is all about just the first A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is not about the rest of the A Nightmare on Elm Streets. But this paperback book there's some new information in it that is not in the hardcover version, and some updated information. I think one of the pieces of information that's in here, which was actually a discovery that I made and ended up in the book, I will talk about that next week. But there are some different pictures in here as well, and I'll show you the differences between this and this. But this is the one that I really want to go through with you guys because it is so rare. So this art on the front, if you take a good look at it, we've got pretty much Nancy in the bed, movies. We've got the green and red for Freddy. Here is a gray streak that is supposed to symbolize Nancy. Of course, the movie, the lamb, just basically a lot of symbolism. And this art was done by Nathan Thomas Milliner, who, if you've seen some of my other My Spooky Studio stuff, did basically that one poster where I did the body double as Nancy, and he's done a ton of other art. But he did this on the front here. And let's take a look inside. It is a pretty comprehensive book. And look at these pictures. Some of these are never before seen pictures in here. Like, this is Wes Craven's childhood. It's super cool. There's all kinds of like, basically like before the glove, coming up with the concept, starting to make it, the casting of Freddy and Nancy and the whole. This is really interesting. So in Never Sleep Again, there is a portion, I mean, there's a lot in here that, okay, so in Never Sleep Again, there are a couple of things that are said that are actually not true, which is very interesting, but you wouldn't know unless you read this book or you watch their videos on Elm Street Radio, which is another YouTube channel specifically existing for A Nightmare on Elm Street. And in the documentary, David Miller says that David Warner was supposed to play Freddy. But in this book, Wes Craven and David Warner are like, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. I was never supposed to play Freddy. So that is the true fun fact. If you're like, David Warner was supposed to play Freddy, because David Miller said it, actually, no, this came out after, and it corrects that fallacy that David Miller, is it David Miller that said that? Pretty sure it was. I can't remember. But basically it said in Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy documentary. But here in the book, Wes and David Warner are like, nope, that's not true. Also, check out this. Look at that. You see that right there? That's Tony Caesar. And he's basically been every horror character on fire that you can think of. He was Freddy coming down the stairs when Nancy lights Freddy on fire. His daughters are the Elm Street girls, and essentially he was like, hey Wes, you need girls, why don't you use my daughters? They'd love to because they want to get a fish tank, and long story short, they ended up getting their fish tank, but his daughters are the Elm Street girls, the little jump rope girls, rather. Look at this picture of Heather. Isn't she just gorgeous? Man, I could go through this forever. I mean, there's just incredibly beautiful, like up close of the glove, details of how, Jim Doyle came up with the glove. Look at these like behind the scenes after party shots. It's dope as heck. Hey everybody, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read your comments, but I'm also blind, so I can't see from over here. But I wanted to take you through this book as much as possible. Look at this man. I'm so sad that I did not get a chance to meet him. After Nancy, Dawn Thompson is my favorite character in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But there's all kinds of cool stuff. Like, look at these behind the scenes of what Heather was supposed to have when she was going to be an all gray wig. Or like, so pretty here. So pretty. I know. If you missed what I was saying, this book is actually not available to purchase anywhere. It is a super rare item, and I will be buried with it. Let's see. There's a bunch of other fun things here. I mean, this is everything you need to know. This is why Wes chose Elm Street. This is just all the details. Let's see. Oh, The Legacy of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Hey, take a look at this page here. Do you see anything that you might recognize? Oh, look at that. It's me. And then it's me with Heather, your nightmare, and of course, as the original in here. So that is one of the coolest things, is the fact that I am in this book, and I actually know everybody on this page. There's Anthony, that I've known. He's one of my best friends. We've got Kim down there. We've got Michelle over here. I mean, we've got so many people. It's dope. It's dope. Asia and Anas Anders, Lito Velasco, who of course worked on Never Sleep Again. So this book is just dope. And here is the other book. I'm going to show you. This is one area that I know that there's a difference, is in the pictures here. Of course, I'm still here, so thank you, Tommy, for including me. But there are some other pictures that have been included because this book variation, like this right here, was taken at Horror Hound in 2015 after Wes's passing. This was released, I think I got this in 2014, late 2014. It arrived when I was working at Disney, which if you've seen our latest episode of Snacks and Screams, you'll know that I used to work at Disney. And this arrived at my parents' house at that time. So I remember that that's when that came out, but I remember doing a video on it in like 2013 or something. But this came out, I think, in 2016 because there were just some updated photos, particularly from that big reunion at Horror Hound after Wes's passing. But you can still get this book. Like, if you wanted to read this, there are some eBay offers. They're insane. I actually was just looking to see how much this book was going for now. Of course, I couldn't find it. So I only found this book, and it's going for like $80 some on there, 60 some. I was like, that's ridiculous. Go back to Amazon, because a couple years ago, I bought a couple of these to give away from Amazon, and they were $10 at the time, but this is now available on Amazon for $60. What a crazy jump in price. Am I right? But It's wonderful. And look, it's got a little review from Clive Barker up top. It says, a magnificent and strikingly detailed journey. So if you are a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan and you really want to know everything there is about the creation of the original film and the backstory of pretty much every detail that you could hope for, and you want to be armed with like the best knowledge of A Nightmare on Elm Street, you're going to want to get you this book. And if you can find one of these, good luck. You might have to save up for it. But this is such a beautiful book. Such a beautiful book. Love the colors. Love it. But I hope you guys had a super awesome Halloween. And if you haven't seen yet, there is a new episode of Snacks and Screams episode of Snacks and Screams where we talk about Escape from Tomorrow, which is the movie that was filmed in Disneyland secretly. Can you imagine like going in with your filming equipment and being like, all right, everybody, we got to make this movie in Disney, but we got to pay to enter all these days. You have to wear the same clothes. Like, how was nobody like, weren't they here yesterday filming that basically the same thing in that outfit? Why are they on It's a Small World again? Like, what are they doing? Nobody made that connection. And maybe it was a different time because it was like 2013, 2012. So they were probably like, I don't know. Can't imagine anybody's making a freaking movie in Disney, but they were, and it came out, and Disney did not decide to do anything about it because here's the stitch, they didn't want to give it any more attention. They were like, let it die and let it fly under the radar, which, you know, if they were to sue them, they would probably have had a lot more attention drawn to that film. And maybe the filmmakers were counting on that. Maybe Disney didn't want to give it to them. And so it exists in the world. It exists in the world. Thank you so much, Mud. I really appreciate that you like the new episode. And I saw your comment about, you know, that you caught Hal, but you want to give somebody else a chance, which is super nice of you. But if you really want a copy of Escape from Tomorrow, because they're right here, yeah, leave the comment and you can get it, because it says bad things happen everywhere, including in this movie. This movie is a bad thing. It's interesting. I'll give it that. It's like somebody made a YouTube video and they called it a movie. Wild, man. I'm gonna have to like listen to the commentary or something, because I've read about the commentary and it's a freaking weird movie. But yeah, so check out that episode of Snacks and Screams, and we have a couple of new shorts, including Trick or Treat version of Freddy versus a guy named Jason. Oh, you did comment the Hidden Hal time? Super! So that means that you've won. But I haven't released that video yet, so shh. But yeah, check that out. Let us know what you guys think. We have a bunch of other stuff that we have in the wings. There has been a small documentary that we've been working on. We have an interview. We want to do a couple of interviews with some other people. It's just like a lot of things. Snacks and Screams takes quite a bit of time because of just how much work goes into all the different facets of it. So thank you guys for all your support for our YouTube channel. Thanks for getting us to over 1,000 subs. Holy moly, that's dope. And yeah, like I said, if you're just joining, check out this book, which is technically this book with different information and in black and white, and it's the only one available because you can't get this because it's special, and it was limited edition for the backers. So glad I was around then. But thanks so much for watching, guys. I look forward to another My Spooky Studio with you next week. Oh, look at that. Born to be Rad's channel again. I would love to. I would love to be on his channel again. I know we actually talked about doing it because Garrett and myself are huge metalheads, and we really enjoy Metal and Monsters, and one just came out, so I should probably message him so we can kind of get that underway. We got a message from Gibson Guitars again that was like, in case you missed it, we have another episode. And I was like, Libby, I pay super attention. Sorry, is that her name? Fuck. I was like, we pay a lot of attention to this stuff. We got you. We got your back. So anywho, guys, check out Meddlin' Monsters, check out the Never Sleep Again books, check out Never Sleep Again, the Elm Street Legacy, and check out Snacks and Screams. We'll see you around, guys. Have a very happy rest of your week, and toodaloo. This is awkward. How am I going to end this without my thumb in the way? Thumb.